we go.
And have to get on Twitch, of course.
Mm-hmm. And welcome everyone to the Mechanics Institute and our coverage of the 2021 U.S. Amateur Team West Championship. I'm Abel Talamantes, chess director at the Mechanics Institute, and joining me is Grandmaster Nick DeFermian and FIDE Master Paul Whitehead. And here we are, a long day of chess. This is round 3, and we have some great matchups on the top board. And on the top table, board 1, we have, and I'm trying to find the game to pull it, International Master Kessav Viswanathan from UC Berkeley A taking on, tonight we're going to checkmate like it's 1989, and their top board, Grandmaster Patrick Wolf, who is black. And here we are, top table, both teams 2-0. And how do you like Patrick's Sicilian here?
Yeah, I mean, it
Black's
looks
going to get a nice game. Maybe White should have played F5 or something. I guess Queen H4. He's worried about the Queen coming over, or G3. Isn't Black just got a great game after F5?
Yeah, nice control of those white squares.
I don't know.
And anyone watching, if you want to get the pairings and standings, you can check it out right there. Hello, Alexi. She's saying hi from Texas, where she teaches at UT Dallas. And we have some great matchups for this round. So the top board is UC Berkeley Team A against Tonight We're going to checkmate like it's 1989. And then on the board 3 table, we have UC Berkeley C team against Stanford University A team. So that's kind of exciting if you're from the area, because it's like you're getting a big game matchup. And let's check in on board 1 there, because that's a very interesting matchup. White is Joshua Sheng for UC Berkeley. He's playing International Master Bryce Tiglon. So let me find where that game is. There it is right here. So Joshua Sheng for Berkeley is white against Bryce Tiglon, who's black.
And wow, look at this, Nick.
And White pushed F5.
You hear Yasser Sarawon, he's always commenting, he says, push them, baby, for the pawns. And God, did White push the pawns there?
Look at that F5 move. And that's just to get the E6 square. So did this come out of a Benoni or something?
Grunfeld.
Yeah.
Grunfeld. Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Like, and he did that really quickly, Joshua did. So this looks like it's preparation.
So, I mean, if Black wants to avoid a white pawn at E6, then I guess he's supposed to play G takes F5?
Yeah, okay, that's very much a consideration. G takes F5.
Bishop H5?
Bishop H5, maybe you could move the rook to F8. If you would do pawn takes D5, the pawn goes to E6, and pawn goes to D4, you'd go G4, you keep that E6, F5. So yeah, G takes F5 is very critical. And what's the idea? Bishop H5, rook F8, still the center's kind of not holding.
Is this some kind of book thing that I should know?
I think you should know it, Paul, and you can tell us about it then. I'm sure it's Joshua's preparation. That's
Yeah.
And let's take a look at the board 2 in this Cal Stanford match. This is WIM Emily Nguyen for Stanford playing white against IM Josiah Stearman for Berkeley.
Josiah, as usual, going on the king side attack.
okay.
And Mike Walder's in the chat saying that come on over to their place. They got the books. Get you
Study some openings.
Get you prepped up.
Yes, Mike has a fantastic chess library.
Bishop h3 is a good looking move.
Yeah, that's looks like you can't guard that e pawn. Rook f6, e5. So this is some kind of a sacrifice.
Well, Black's got to be careful his game just doesn't fall apart here.
Yes, maybe he overlooked bishop h3. But he's played very quickly too.
Well, they have over 1,000 books over at their house.
Wow, that is a library.
That is a chess library. Wow. I'll bet you John's got that beat. John Donaldson.
Well, of course, our mechanics chess library is the biggest on the West. But private libraries, they and John Donaldson are in the lead.
Yeah, they're probably two of the biggest, huh?
Well, now they have to read them.
It's one thing to collect them and one thing to read them.
That's what Michael's saying.
I feel like John has read them.
John reads a lot of chess books.
Speaking of which, let's check in on John Donaldson, who is playing Grandmaster Andrei Gorovets. As the Factory, his team, the Factory. And this is the current position.
This looks like a John Donaldson position.
Kind of like white here.
Yeah, me too. Black's missing the dark squared bishop. White will methodically play for e5, I guess, or a3, and I don't know.
But Black is saying, okay, we don't have any problems on the light squares. Pawn to a5, knight to b6.
Yeah.
Still, somehow it feels a bit better for white.
And then in another team matchup, the Mechanics Institute team led by Kyron Griffith and Jim Tarjan, they are playing Alpha Zero Tech Support. And here it is.
Unbeatable.
FIDE Master Kyron Griffith is white against FIDE Master Robert Shliaktenko, who is black.
Well, this seems to have gone well for Black after just taking back with the pawn, right, Nick?
It doesn't look like Black has any worries at all.
Yeah.
Play on the queen side. Don't know how Kyron's gonna start a king side attack.
No, I don't think. I mean, if white has anything here, it's the slighted better bishop, but it's like a long way off, I guess.
And on board 2 in the same matchup between Mechanics and Alpha Zero Tech Support, International Master Keaton Kira is playing white against Grandmaster Jim Tarjan.
it looks like, again, black's thoroughly equalized.
Yeah. I mean, white doesn't look like he has anything here.
And this team matchup is a tricky one because look at the board 3 for Alpha Zero tech support is International Master Alexander Costello against Jonah Bush. And we have the rating disparity because on their board 4, they are underrated. As Chelsea Zoo's on board 4 for black for mechanics playing their player. So our board 4 has an advantage for the mechanics, but board 3 we have a 2400 playing a 2000, so it's going to be tough. But Chelsea still needs to do what she needs to do.
This is looking troublesome for black here.
Yeah. She'll have to defend.
Rook h7 or
yes. What happens on rook takes h7?
Yeah.
King takes queen h5 check and g6,
G6.
would do it. Pawn takes knight on e5, queen h5 does it. Ooh.
Yeah, Mike Walder saying this is done if it's played. And I know their board 4 is a strong player, like a tough player.
I mean, queen h5 almost works as well, right? Takes on e5, check, king up. You could go
black,
back, yeah.
Black at least can play a few moves.
But rook h7 looks decisive.
Can we find any defense on rook h7? And pawn to g6.
Black got into some trouble in this opening. This is like a call system, a perfect call system for white.
I suppose some of the players are getting tired at the third round of the day.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a factor. I mean, you have to be ready to go even up to the last round. What about something like knight f5? Rook h7, knight f5.
Queen h5.
And then knight h6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's true. I mean, we can
take it.
There's various things.
Basically, going to give backs, giving everything back, and probably then some.
Well, you haven't even taken a piece yet, right? So,
I see. But after rook h7.
Right, rook h7, knight f5, queen h5, knight h6, rook g7 check. There's probably got to be half a dozen ways in there.
Yeah, I think you played the best defense able, but right, Chelsea, channel your inner Chiron.
Yeah. This is the time for swindle time.
And let's go. Game shall we look at? Let's check on Kessav and Patrick Wolf on the top board on the top table.
And then we have to look at Mark Pinto's game.
Yeah, we'll pull that one up next.
Mark Pinto has been in good form.
This is a nice game for black. Of course, it's not over, and white has, but uh,
Just restricting everything. Oh. Look at that bishop. the dark square bishop for black.
yeah, and if white trades it off, then black has this protected past e pawn, and it's just.
Let's peek on FIDE master Mark Pinto, who drew Jim Tarjan's been looking good. Even in his first game, he had a nice little tactic to mate his opponent.
Yeah.
And he's playing Pranav Sairam, who's from the Bay Area. He's played our events, many of our mechanics events.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want this
White's
position.
got a little edge here.
What?
White has a little edge in this.
Yeah.
Opening, but
If you can play maybe b4 at the right time.
yeah, hard to get in exactly.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Cal Stanford matchup we were talking about. This is UC Berkeley B, I believe, against. No, it's UC Berkeley C team against Stanford A team. Joshua Sheng against International Master Bryce Tiglon.
Well, this is a game that's going to be won or lost by one or the other players.
There is no draws here.
I mean, if white doesn't find something, what, f6 maybe here? I don't know what white's trying to do with this. Blow black off the board. That makes sense. Rook g1, of course.
Rook g1, and if bishop takes the pawn on f5.
Then rook b7. Those rooks
are the other rook
operating. Yeah.
b7, forcing bishop to b6.
Oh, yeah.
Queen takes d5 check, king to h8.
Look at this, Nick. Nick, it's not fair. You're calculating variations.
No.
Hey, well, you're gonna have to talk to Nick about that.
We're gonna have to have a discussion. Let's peek on board 2 because we were looking at Emily Nguyen had played bishop h3, targeting the e6 pawn, and looks like she took it. And now Josiah's played rook f6.
Wow. Just finally could take the knight on d7 and play pawn to e5.
Yeah, Josiah, he makes you wonder here, doesn't he?
Well, then he would go rook to h6.
And if you take on d6, queen h3 or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be living by the seat of your pants kind of play.
Action play, that's for sure here.
Yeah. Maybe white should play d5, although that's dangerous too, opening up the a7 g1 diagonal. That opens up diagonals for everybody. I don't know.
This feels really slimy, but I like it. I mean, Josiah is tricky. He's
very tricky player.
Gets ideas.
Bishop g4 maybe, and then h5. I don't know. It looks a little wishy-washy. Bishop h3.
I think Josiah overlooked he was losing the e6 pawn, and he's just winging it. But, he's getting some action there.
And white still has this undeveloped queen side. Development is important.
Well, keep an eye on this. I'm going to flip over to the Mechanics Institute versus Alpha Zero Tech Support.
I mean, if you're Alpha Zero tech support,
that means you help Alpha Zero be better, right?
this just looks good for black. I mean, well, I can see what white's trying to do here, but it seems like black should have a great game here.
Very natural position for black.
Yeah. I mean, maybe white wants to, play the rook over to the queen side, or I wouldn't be that happy if I was white here, but it's difficult for black to move forward. Like c5 hangs the d pawn. What about rook b8? I mean, it seems like black should play rook b8 just on general principles. But
in the other game, Mike Walder thinks, and Riemann Troll, have you guys looked at any games from the matchup Stanford versus UC Berkeley? We've been doing it a lot. Where have you been? You must have just shown up. We were just following that game between right here, Joshua Sheng and Bryce Tiglong. Ah, you just finished, yeah. Believe you me, when I saw that pairing, I knew we were going to cover it.
look at this, Nick. It went to your analysis.
And see how Joshua, he's just ripping out the moves. It sure looks like preparation.
So what happens? King h8?
King h8 and
Bishop g5, maybe? Oh, rook g4. You're right. He's just cranking out the moves.
that was so fast.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Seeing the future here.
So if you go queen takes h2, where's the mate?
If I was white, black, I'd be sweating this with white playing so quickly.
Indeed. I mean, the fear you always have when you play is that you're playing against, the Alpha Zero or Stockfish that's analyzed this position and has calculated 10 moves ahead, and you have to try to replicate that.
I mean, even if black plays queen d8, he's a pawn up, right?
Well, queen d8, rook d7. Oh,
You can take it.
it.
You can take it. Maybe white's still better. I mean, I'm just showing that as a last resort for black. Queen d8.
Well, that means you're not getting checkmated, at least.
Yeah, I don't like getting checkmated. Horrible. Horrible.
As we keep an eye on that one, let's peek at Emily Nguyen and Josiah Stearman.
It is cowardly, though, queen d8. Wow, this game has just gone quickly.
And now Josiah sacrificed the exchange?
Yeah.
Why not?
But he's activated that bishop on e6, got the two knights, got the pieces out. Is this enough? Some compensation?
Looks like it. I mean, yeah, leading development. Knight f5 coming, knight c4 maybe. Some chances. White's rooks are not doing anything right now, so looks like a good exchange, Sack. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, say you're threatening the pawn on c4. Wow, you're very much threatening it. But say white developed with knight to a3. maybe black just goes for the attack, exchange on G3, knight F5.
Yeah. Black's definitely got some compensation here.
Let me go back and check a game we were looking at previously with Chelsea Zoo. Rook H7 was not played. And so this is the current position.
Well, okay.
Black has a lease on life here.
Yes.
Amazing.
Still not pretty, but so much better.
But
it looked like it was mate.
Dodged a bullet there, yeah.
Whew. I'll say. Now white has to go more slowly, like develop the queen side, I suppose.
Queen G2, that's like looking to get a pawn. That's a lot less than a king.
It does threaten knight takes E4, I suppose. Who's Bryce?
Bryce Tiglon, international master.
Uh,
that is this game right here.
Somebody's giving us some computer analysis.
Yeah.
Evaluations.
Yeah, so here at the Mechanics Institute, we generally do not use computer analysis. But since we're darn curious, here it is for black. Black is Bryce Tiglon.
So he played queen F2 and white jumped out with bishop G5. And just spending. So where's the crushing moves for black? Bishop H5? Does that work? Probably not.
Queen F5?
Queen F5. This is the kind of game a position a computer would be really good at.
There's a lot of open space too.
Yeah, open space and crazy moves and
crazy good moves and
strange shots.
We were assuming that Joshua had some good reason to play so quickly to get in this position.
Maybe he's winging it.
Yeah, I mean, there might be an element of frustration. Who knows?
He's down a pawn. There's no mate on the board.
His king's in the middle.
His king's right in the middle. Maybe something like bishop F6 even. It looks crazy, but if you can play rook D8, I don't know.
And let's go back and check on the
Just
top.
Looking for a cheapo.
Top board on the top table. UC Berkeley A against tonight. We're gonna checkmate like it's 1989 and Grandmaster Patrick Wolf playing black.
Well, maybe black's going to have to take the knight on D4 when it shows up there, giving white the, I don't know. I guess the knight isn't threatened to go into C6 yet, or E6 maybe. This might be a tough nut to crack. Patrick plays on the queen side.
Wow, that's
It's getting harder and harder for Nick and I to predict the moves as the evening wears away.
Yeah, I find that a little strange. I would have like done King F7 or something, tried to work on the king side.
Patrick says it's time for action. It's time to play chess like a boss.
And that is Patrick's book that is out. It was the rebranding of the Idiot's Guide to Chess, which he wrote, and it's Play Chess Like a Boss, out in stores that you can't go to. So order it online. Let's check on Kyron's game, the Mechanics Institute, against he's playing Robert Shlyatenko from Alpha Zero Tech Support.
Oh, and black has given up a pawn. With c5.
The idea to just keep pushing that pawn down, or
I guess he wanted to play pawn d4, but white took the pawn on d5. So,
yeah, this.
He can go bishop e6 though, yeah.
Yeah, and if queen g6, rook c6, so maybe that's the idea, is to just open up some lines. Actually, Kyron could be in trouble on the d file. Bishop e6, queen e2, rook d8. There's also that rook at h4 kind of like sort of in midair a little bit. Maybe Robert has seen some kind of far-sighted combination here.
Well, he definitely has play for the pawn, but
Well,
he didn't have to give it.
Bishop e6, what happens? Queen d2. Yeah, he didn't have to sacrifice it, so he's
You have queen d2, rook to d8, queen to e1 or something.
opposite the black rook.
Yeah, it's not clear that black is better. I doubt he's worse.
Well, that's a pawn sacrifice. That's a real pawn sacrifice.
And let's take a look at the board too. And there it is. Bishop e6 was played on the board, but Keaton Kira and Jim Tarjan.
Yeah, and then we have to look at Donaldson.
Yeah.
So black is the one that ended up with the C file. Very strange, I think.
I mean, generally it looks very nice for black. I don't know if knight to b5 is a useful move. No, black move.
I mean, black's position could become a little shaky right after if white can play knight b5 or something. And
maybe you should stop it with just a6.
I like that. a6, yeah.
I mean, black is certainly not worse.
Yeah. Tarshan never listens to us. And notice that the players don't listen to us, Nick.
Well, that can mean a few things.
He's right. Knight b5, you just go a6.
Anyway, yeah. Okay.
And because you asked, here is International Master John Donaldson, top board for the Factory, playing Grandmaster Andrei Gorovets.
Oh boy, this has gotten kind of interesting here.
And the Factory is playing the San Jose Chess Club Warriors.
So black gave up the f5 square to the white knight, but he's gained a whole lot in compensation for it. I think.
Very interesting.
Yeah, an
And the
interesting.
A4 pawn is also loose.
Yeah, so as it is said in the chat, Andre Gorovitz's 1090 rating is not
That's pretty.
representative.
It was hilarious. Yeah.
And Nick and Paul, I need your expertise in deciphering this position here. It's going to come up.
Yeah, we've been trying to look at this one.
This looks like one of these things where you put pieces in like random spots to kind of mess with your mind because your mind doesn't recognize the pattern of pieces being on these squares in this order.
The other thing that Black could have played was pawn e4. It struck me that was a strong move, maybe, to play queen d4 check, maybe.
Like all four bishops on the board in like completely open space,
and four rooks, yeah, and the queens.
But the black king seems safe. I just don't see how you get at it.
Yeah, White's been playing these kind of random moves like rook g4 and
And it's weird. Like if you try to sacrifice rook takes g7, black ignores you and goes rook b1 check, king d2, starts checking.
this looks tough for White. And rook b8 looks like maybe a pretty good move.
Yeah, I think
I think Black seemed to have a bunch of good moves almost. All right, so what's up with this? The queen can go to e3 or to f5.
Kind of like f5.
I don't see what White's got. He's aiming for some shot. That's what it seems like, but nothing seems to jump out at me.
No. No, I think Josh was just tired.
Black can exchange queens now with taking on b7 and queen b1 check if he wants to.
So the worst he is a pawn up in the end game.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't play that end game. The black king is safer.
Let me move on to top board on the top table with Kessav for UC Berkeley and GM Patrick Wolf for checkmate like it's 1989. So he did end up playing on the queen side here.
Yeah. So is Black gonna hack that knight off and then just say, so what? Or is he gonna play queen d3 or queen b4?
Queen d3 looks pretty strong, no?
It does. I mean, you're going to allow the white knight to go into c6 or something like that. But so maybe this, so what?
Yeah, I think Abel's right. It's nice to get the queens off if you're black.
I think the Grandmasters, their moves look more coherent. They're always trying something, and sort of their pieces sort of make more sense in a way, you know.
So
Yeah, Queen G3 looks like a good move. I agree.
But there's the tactics. You can go queen takes d3.
And then knight e6, yeah.
And then if you take on d3 with the knight, knight e6 will win the exchange.
Yeah, yeah.
So
how about the idea of just saying the dark squares don't matter? I'm going to play bishop takes d4 and then rook h7 or something like that, and then play on the light squares. I mean, that's
maybe.
risky. That's risky too, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of sense to that.
If he takes with the queen, you can go king f7, and maybe. If he takes with the bishop, rook h7. I don't know.
let's check on Mark Pinto's game. Board 2 for the Factory against the San Jose Chess Club Warriors.
Mark Pinto is not wasting any time in this game, is he?
He likes to move fast. Wants to get the evening going.
He's coming under some pressure here.
Yeah, how can he get play on the king side?
He's got the wrong piece on d6. I don't know. Maybe bishop c7. Try to force rook a1.
Well, that's kind of interesting. They'd probably have to go rook a1.
b8. Rook b8's a good, interesting prophylactic move too, though, huh?
It's a good defensive move. You didn't want white to invade on the B line.
This game's got a long way to go. Black has a lot of defensive chances here.
I'm curious to see what the time is, like 10, 15 minutes from now.
And back to this game with between Kyron Griffith for mechanics and Robert Shliaktenko for the Alpha Zero tech support.
Well, now black has got a definite threat here. This is an interesting positional sacrifice in a way. The idea of playing your pawn to sacrificing the pawn to d5, and then playing c4 to limit the mobility of white's pieces is kind of unusual.
Sorry, Paul, what is the definite threat that check to take the rook?
Yeah, I like those one move threats, Nick. That's what I'm good for at this point.
Threaten one.
Maybe this was just no good. I don't know.
Well, queen g5 might
snag the pawn back.
Yeah.
Rook d4, queen h5, rook to d8. Who knows what's going on?
Let me go for. I'm gonna look at board 2. I love the analysis. Like, who knows what's happening?
You too can be a chess master.
So let's look at Keaton and Jim Tarjan.
So the knights went dancing.
Yeah, it did go to b5 and to c7. Oh, but it's not bad there on c7.
And meanwhile, the Black Knight is going traipsing.
And I don't know at what move, but Jim offered the draw and it was declined. And I'm certain the Alpha Zero Tech team is thinking about the team match as a whole. The third board in this game is this one. Jonah Bush is playing I Am Alex Costello.
Redemption time for Jonah.
And
Yes.
tough match. A big ask for Jonah in this match, but how's he doing? He's playing white.
He's playing the Christensen variation of the English opening, right? Knight f3 was c4 and e4.
It says ready, King's Indian attack, symmetrical defense.
Oh, well.
Blah, blah, blah.
See, that's what happens when you guess at your chess openings.
Oh,
Paul, who got rid of all the opening books at the Mechanics Institute.
No, that's not true. And it was with Nick's approval.
That's right.
well, some of them were 20, 30 years out of date. Yeah.
I didn't get rid of any books before 2010. I mean, after 2010.
After 2010.
But the librarians got down on their hands and knees to thank me. And you're right, Alexi. I did keep the MCO for sure.
And looking at the other game between Kessav and Patrick Wolf, I think they traded the queens there. Knight's got Patrick has knight on d3.
Okay, so if the knight goes to e6,
He's sacrificing the exchange. Interesting.
but
Oh,
it's
no, king f7.
well, you still take on g7 and check with the bishop.
Yeah, absolutely. So Patrick's just like, I'm giving you my rook.
I mean, it's a terrific knight on d3,
And it prevents rook c1.
but an exchange is an exchange.
Is he looking to push a4, but get his rook to a5 and capture on d5, and then he's got those pawns rolling down the middle?
I think he just overlooked it.
I think it could be that too.
No, I don't think he overlooked it.
If he could get that d5 pawn, yeah, life would be better.
So like your analysis will be, I think he just wasn't paying attention.
You're right. Yeah, if Black can take that pawn at d5, it's rolling. Keep those doggies rolling.
Rawhide.
Rawhide, yeah.
Like the blues.
Meanwhile, White can try h3 and he's got to get a rook into the game.
That's a little difficult. There's a lot of compensation here.
And he's shown today he's not afraid to do this.
Black's next move is rook c8. I guess. And rook c2.
The funny thing is that knight on d3 does not permit the rooks at all to activate themselves.
Domination. Strong knight.
Good knight.
And White looks like he's toying with the idea of giving up the exchange back.
And John Donaldson and Andre Gorovets have agreed to a draw in their game.
How about
Oh,
that?
And this is the position here.
Because that was a tough little position.
And on
Oh,
board, yeah,
I see. Yes, with white about to play f4.
on board two in the same matchup, Pranav Siram is at 8 minutes left on the clock when Mark Pino's got 47, but this is the position. 47 minutes left.
Well, that's plenty of time.
And in another game we were following, Bryce Tiglon for Stanford got the win here against Joshua Sheng.
How
yeah.
about that?
Coming to
Yeah.
C1 over there.
Uh-huh. Ooh, yeah.
Well, he could go bishop g5 and just be completely lost.
Wow.
So
I don't think Joshua really showed up for this game, or there was some mistaken analysis.
And let's take a look at another game we were following, which was Emily Nguyen for Stanford playing white against Josiah Stearman for Berkeley.
Okay, Josh is down just the exchange.
And
He's got a pawn for it.
he's got a
Now he
pawn
has a
for it.
pawn. And an attack. And can regain the exchange right here and there. Well, whew. Knight g3 looks good. Josiah, he's a monster.
Oops, sorry.
He must be winning here. This
Yeah.
It's a lot of knights coming down.
So what? Knight g3, queen g2, maybe?
oh, queen g2 hits the rook on a8.
Yeah, so that's not working yet. So rook f8, I suppose. Or one of the knights into e3. But I like getting the rook into the game.
Yeah, it's such active knights for black.
Let's check on Kyron Griffith's game here.
It seems to me the quality of this round is a little less than the others. People are tired.
Yeah.
And Kyron is up a pawn.
Normally under normal conditions, you would think that, okay, the online version, it's tiring because they have to play 3 games. Whereas if they play the traditional schedule, players would play 2-2-2. Except that half the field plays the 2-day schedule where they actually play 4 games in one day and then play the 2 games on the last day because they played 3 games in an accelerated schedule where it's game 60, and then they join for the 4th round, which is a long time control. So this is actually not that different than that. So, but it's a long day nonetheless.
Kyron's trying to figure out how to hold on to his extra pawn.
And look at board 2 here. Keaton Kira against Tarjan.
So Tarshan blocked the bishop out with pawn e5.
Now, if Kira goes pawn to a3, where will that knight go?
Well, luckily it's black's move.
What about bishop d8? Can that be played?
Well,
I like your thinking, but bishop e5? Then maybe knight c6? I don't know.
maybe just take that pawn on a2. The white knight takes on a6. You can come around to c1.
Huh. And going back to the game between Kessav and Patrick Wolf, it looks like Kessav sacked it back, the exchange.
Okay, yeah, that was a real troublemaker that night. So white's a pawn ahead, but tough to win this.
Now the material, yeah, white will be a pawn ahead, right?
Yeah, sorry, it will be.
So if the whole idea was a mistaken idea on Patrick's part, because he's just got a worse endgame.
Yeah, but his bishop and pawn are good, so you just start with pawn to a4 to open lines. d3, pawn takes. Maybe you go rook to c8, rook takes d3, rook to c2. You've got some activity there. It's probably enough for a draw.
And
Could be.
and looking at the rest of the games in this match on the top table, this is board 2, and Timu Virtanen for UC Berkeley playing black. And this is incorrect.
Who's national master? 2245.
That is Andrew Metric, USCF rated 2288 against Timu Virtanen 2368 USCF.
Well, white has a nice looking game, but where does it go? Black has a lot of pressure too. Maybe king h7 and g6, get rid of the knight, start. This is a tough one to call. I somehow like black, but it could go bad.
Now this is board 4 in this matchup here. This is Caleb Meyer Chabris for Patrick's team. Checkmate like it's 1989 against Junior Mejia of Berkeley. But does white have an unstoppable advantage here?
Or does black?
Or does black?
See if you did double rooks on the second rank, maybe something like bishop d5.
That's right, because black has queen f8 to block any incursion.
But this is the rook is hanging.
What about queen b6? And if queen takes d6 trade and rook d2? Oh, then white would have d7 and bishop h3.
So queen b6, you probably play queen f4.
Oh, I see. Queen f4. Nasty.
And this is board 3 in this matchup. Ashrita Iswaran for Cal and Christopher Chabris, National Master for 1989.
I suppose you've got to like white here, a pawn ahead.
Yeah.
And what book did he write, Alexei, Chris Chabris? The Invisible Gorilla. Is that a chess book? Sounds like it. So White's going to have to give up the exchange, maybe? No. There's some attacking chances here.
For white on black.
Looks like it, like h6. I'm not sure. Knight f5, maybe.
Yeah. If f6, maybe you sacrifice the exchange,
There you go.
might be required.
A couple of pawns.
Yeah, probably good though.
Yeah. Yeah. White's already a pawn up.
And just checking in on board 4 in the mechanics Alpha Zero match.
Yeah, the Invisible Gorilla. I get that. That's true. Concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some diagonals for you. Does black have enough here? Black's been struggling this whole game.
Yeah, dodged a bullet earlier
Dodged a
on.
bullet earlier for sure. Now is the exchange down. You know, what if white plays b4? Off come the queens, right?
Yes.
Let me go back to Kyron's game here. We're getting to that point.
So black can regain the pawn on h5. And then we've got what must be an equal position.
Yeah.
Both players can play for the loss if they want or something. I mean, black might be, who knows? I don't think anybody's better there.
No, that looks very equal.
They should agree to a draw unless somebody's wants to get into trouble.
Well, still, they'll play along for the team's sake and see what the match score is near the
That's
end.
right. I always forget about that.
Yeah. I think one of you may have two devices going. There's a slight echo. But let's check on the board too with Keaton, who looked like he was putting a little bit of pressure on Jim Tarjan.
Am I the one with the echo?
It may have been Nick, actually.
I only have one device.
Oh yeah, you sound better. You sound better now. Is Jim under pressure, or does it just look worse than it is?
That white knight coming to d5 is going to look really nice.
This somehow looks okay for black.
Oh, how do you guard that pawn on b2? Because if b3, knight c5 just wins.
Rook takes d3, rook c7. That's kind of boring.
Just because we got some action there, I want to take a look at this game. Back to the Cal Stanford match with Emily Nguyen and Josiah Stearman.
This is not looking good for white.
Where should that white knight go? Like e5?
Josiah is trying to win this in some pretty manner, I think. Queen f3. Knight f1, rook f1.
Maybe even knight d4 after that.
Yeah.
And let me move over to this game really quick. Kessav and Patrick.
Oh, what's happened to that a pawn?
Is he gonna have to play bishop d8?
Yes.
Or rook c1 and bishop c3.
Okay, that's more active.
Oh yeah.
But then rook e2.
And then you play rook to d1 to try to take the d pawn.
Yeah. Patrick kind of overthought this one, or the exchange sack looked good, but the exchange sack back was even better.
And that was probably not anticipated, right?
Well, you tend to see good moves for yourself and not for your opponent. But this is strong now, maybe. Bishop c3, rook e2, like Nick said, rook d1.
And let me move over really quick to this. Kyron Griffith and Robert Shlevchenko.
Kyron.
It looks like he just took right there on g6.
Can black play bishop takes b3 is the question.
Yeah, but yeah. May not be such a terrific move after all.
It looks like he can. I don't see any harm in that.
Yeah, and all black's pawns are protected by the queen. So, or that crucial a7 pawn.
And
I don't see anything wrong with it. Bishop takes b3.
And played. So we're just trading down pawns and at the end
yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. Both kings just got a lot more unsafe.
And let's check in on board 4 on this top table. It
Oh, okay. Now this has gone better. That's
Yeah.
2 pawns.
Trade and play bishop c2.
What happened? That was
let's go
Black
back.
has to be careful though.
Because in this position here, he's still up.
and we've seen where it gets to rook to f7, gets to play b4.
Oh, look at that. I think that was missed right there. Check. Takes. Yep.
Aha, overlooking that.
I could have played pawn e5 first.
Yes.
So she has life.
Yeah, this is terrific. Especially 10 moves into it, it was, resignable.
Yeah.
Like,
So now rook g4, rook g3, rook h4, maybe with the idea of playing bishop to d, gotta get rid of that a pawn.
And then I just moved over to the board 3 where we're asking a ton of Jonah Bush, but he's playing strong, especially after a long day, trying to match up with Alex Costello.
Hanging in there, pawn down.
But Costello, 11 minutes on the clock. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back to see what's going on with Patrick Wolf.
Jonah Bush, he's due for some good luck.
All right, well, this is getting,
Rook to C2 needs to be played.
and then what, bishop to b4?
Yeah, bishop to B4. Do we play A3 or do we give a check on C7?
Patrick could have played rook d3 there, I think. This is, yeah, both kings are in danger after rook c7 check, in a way.
Yes. I'm not sure it does much. The king goes to E8.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe A3, bishop takes A3, bishop takes A5, rook takes D5, and it's level.
Patrick has fought back well here. Despite being a pawn down, he's putting a lot of pressure on white.
And Kyron Griffith and Robert Shektenko agreed to a draw in their game.
That was fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard fought.
Kyron's playing some good chess.
And going back to board 2 on the top table, Jim Tarjan appears to be up a pawn.
Oh, he played that sneaky 91 move, I think, taking the f3 pawn, winning the f3 pawn.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
And now he has to try to make a fortress. White has a crushing move here, doesn't he, Nick?
Like rook to B7?
Bishop takes e5.
Aha.
Does it work?
Bishop takes E5. Wow. My God. Let's see. We may have to go rook G1 check.
King can go to h3. Or I mean, he could go back with the bishop. Bishop e5 is a shot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Bishop e5, bishop takes e5, and then
Rook d8 mate.
that's it. Oh, yes. So you're removing the defender.
An h5 check doesn't seem to do any good. I think White could just take it.
No, if you take it, we have on the G6 check.
And if king h6.
Oh, very nice. Very tricky.
And played.
Oh my gosh, he played it. Oh, poor Jim. Yikes. Whew.
What a king e8.
King e8, knight f6 check and rook d4, or maybe just bishop f6, and if king d7, bishop d4. Wow. Oh. Hmm.
Yeah, tough situation.
Yeah, you can tell that took Jim by surprise, I think.
Let me going back to a game we were following, Emily Nguyen and Josiah Stearman.
Rook c2 just loses to bishop takes d4, bishop d4, rook d8 mate. Oh, yeah, Josiah is just crushing here.
White's move.
Rook f3, maybe?
Well, we could,
Look at this game. We were watching this game.
G3. Yeah, rook g or g7.
We were following this game. This is the board 4 game in that match.
oh, wow. Okay.
So White is down a rook.
Yes, white is down. White's down a rook.
And it doesn't look like there's enough.
Nothing for it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Rook e1 check,
Oh, rook e1 check, huh? King f7,
king f7, and then where's the follow-up flag?
queen c4.
Can go pawn to d5.
Yeah. And then
Well, that was a brave black king, and it looks like you just win.
white must have just played bishop takes e6 check or something like that.
And let me go to this game because I've been noticing that Mark Pinto is often playing these closed up positions. And here he is again. His opponent, Pranav Sairam's down to a minute 15.
Oh, I love it. 1 minute. It's 35.
But he's forced Mark to use probably a lot more time than he wanted to.
I can't believe how much time black has used.
And we're on move 48.
That's hilarious.
Now, it's completely locked up is the thing.
Yeah, how would, I mean, if given a dozens of moves, maybe white could find a way in.
I guess white can move back and forth for 100 moves and gain time on the clock.
I like this idea of piling up on the Eve pawn. How did Mark get this crazy looking position? White's got to be better, but, you know, he still has to win it.
Yeah, despite the time difference, maybe white's still better.
And these young players are not going to overlook any shots.
Going back to board
What
one
a
on
game.
board 1 on table 1 here. Kessav against Grandmaster Patrick Wolf.
Oh, he did play that c7 check, and Patrick went to f6, and wow, bishop d8 check is a threat. You can't go rook d5, bishop d8 check, king e6, rook e7 check, king f6, rook e5 check wins the rook,
So G5 is forced.
and then rook h6 check.
has to play
Black
G5.
king.
Maybe rook d2 check, just throw it in first.
Yeah, probably a good idea. Better on.
Maybe hope he goes to g1, bishop c5 check. No harm in it.
Well, Patrick is working this out. He's got 4.5 minutes left. Let's check in on Keaton and Jim Tarjan. It looks like he did check on rook g1, and Keaton just brought the bishop back.
So tough times for Tarzan.
Threatening e5. Threatening knight f6 and e5. Ooh, this doesn't look good.
As kings is sort of in an odd placement there.
Well, so probably like 96 and quite good for white, but
Yeah, black's still holding on. Doesn't look good though.
And let's look at board 4 here. And this does not look good, right?
oh, what went wrong?
Pawn got a little too far there.
And can't be stopped. Oh, what a shame, because black was doing so well, but I guess she traded rooks, which was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And this is just over now.
So back to this game, because this is fascinating. Look at this.
This is still going on?
Still going on.
How could this still have gone on?
It's going.
There was a queen a7 check. That was good.
The black king is marching up.
Fearless.
I don't believe it though.
And in fact, it's hard for black to get a check except rook g2 check.
And look at this from board 3. Christopher Chabris.
White's got an awful lot of pawns.
That is a lot of pawns there.
And can also go queen f5 check and take the bishop.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
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 That is difficult. Checking back on Mark Pinto's game.
Ashritha is a strong player.
Yeah, she's in top form.
This is the game that never ends. It looks like one of Tony's problems.
The Tony's teasers.
Yeah.
And there's another battle going on that we'll check in later on the second table between UC Berkeley's B team against Caltech and their A team. So we'll keep an eye on that shortly. And let's go back to Jim Tarjan. And Keaton's still thinking after Jim played 96.
Yeah, I mean, it's big advantage for white, but not over.
Right.
Maybe you take the bishop on f6 and play rook to b7.
Maybe play rook b7 right away.
Then maybe bishop b8.
Yeah, you can take on b2. Oh no. Oh, bishop to d8. Hmm.
Oh, there's still
There's
some
still
tricks.
play. Yeah.
And Josiah Stearman won his game for UC Berkeley. So congrats to him.
Yeah.
I just love that style. Just throw everything, throw pawn, throw the exchange. Just he plays just for activity, no
Yeah.
backing down.
No, very talented.
And back to Patrick Wolf.
And Patrick doesn't have much time here,
He's down to 56 seconds.
but his game looks pretty good.
Threatening
f4.
f4, yeah.
And bishop e1, so
Yeah.
maybe king g2 is forced, and bishop d2.
Rook f6.
Yes, maybe rook f6, bishop e1, rook f5. And it's still just one pawn.
So you think black should be okay as long as he's careful and doesn't allow white's pawn to advance to g6, supported by the bishop at d4 or something like that.
And Ashrita Iswaran won her game. Well played over Christopher Chabris.
So she's got, are there board prizes as well?
Yes.
Nice. Well, black could probably just keep checking on the d file, right?
I would go bishop e1. Well,
Patrick's like, you're never going to get on this diagonal if I can help it. And he's going to put his bishop on e5. I like that. And it prevents rook f6. I think black's playing for a win here.
He might, and he should, considering the results in the rest of his team's games.
Aha, interesting.
And
Yeah.
he has to know that. Because Ashrita won, and it looks like Junior Mejia is going to win. So the bottom two boards look like they're going to win. And the fourth board is this game here. Now, can't Caleb play in this position queen b5 check?
Yeah.
But will that? I mean, then you could take
That'll
the rook.
just be a loss, queen. But if you win a whole rook, you're just going to be in a lost queen ending.
Right. So it's almost not even worth it.
Here's a funny line: queen b5, king f6, queen g5, king f7, queen d8, rook e1 mate. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but That's simpler.
Oh, D5 allows it to happen with check. That wasn't.
and did it.
Winning endgame for black, right?
Yeah, it's still.
Nothing too difficult. Although he found it difficult to win a rook up.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and you never know now, right? I mean,
Yeah. I've been going over a bunch of queen endings, and it's remarkable how easily these positions are won for black. You
oh,
know,
look at this.
or can be won.
Look at Patrick.
Oh my, he's back to even in pawns. Oh, and he didn't even take the G pawn.
Almost even. But he'll be able to take that. Yeah.
But yeah, he's trying to go a bishop D4 check and pawn to F3 and try to win the game.
So the other important game in this match is this one. With Teemu Virtanen for Berkeley against Andrew Metrick. So Patrick needs white to win this. And then he needs to find a way to win his game.
Boy, this is complicated, huh?
It is. With knight G6, knight H6 check.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Oh, the knight probably has to retreat to D7.
To protect the queen.
Well, black seems to have everything held together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a quick check on Jonah Bush against international master Alex Costello.
Still one pawn difference.
Yeah, Jonah's really putting on the Ritz here.
Yeah, he's showing some fight.
The Black Knight just showed up on D4, though. Still.
Hey, check Mark Pinto's game. And,
oh my God!
Oh no, he's completely lost.
Yeah, and he resigned.
Oh.
So the factory lost that game.
White found a way in.
Yep. Check it on Jim Tarjan's game. Oops.
So Tarjan's going to try to take the B pawn if white takes the A pawn. But what about the A train? This doesn't look easy anymore, does it?
Oh.
I mean, black can even play knight takes G3 and rook B1 or something, or this may no longer be a win.
Rook G2.
Yeah, rook G2.
But yeah, certainly worse, but it's a rook ending.
So, yeah, this is not easy.
So going back to this, just because I think this is incredibly fascinating, if Caleb Meyer-Chabray is able to find a way to draw this game.
Oh, he's screwed up with the king.
Because the other
black queen is in the bad position.
Because
I don't understand how Black's queen got in such a silly position.
a silly position. Yeah.
Still, though, if it's going to head back to E6.
It's ring around the rosy here.
And the thing here is that Black's got to be careful to not accidentally walk into a repetition, because the computer will call it. It's easy to do in something like this where you're getting checked and checked.
What can't the Black king head to G7 or G8 or something like that, and then he can start all over again?
Well, King F6 should go Queen C3. Okay, good move. Queen F2. I don't like that. Oh, but he still gets Queen E3 check and can go Queen A7 check.
But then you go King E8.
So Queen to B8 check.
King E7.
Queen to B4 check.
Oh, he's got Queen B4 check.
Oh, but then you could go King E6 maybe.
Yeah, there must be some way to triangulate in. I mean,
I'm not sure.
How did that queen end up on F7?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
I'm telling you, he's got to be careful about
being a rook up. That's a danger sign.
Falling into a repetition that he didn't anticipate.
I don't see any way out.
Of a draw now?
You have Queen B4 check.
Incredible.
Queen B4 check, King D7.
And there's no checks for Black right now either. From this position.
This is a travesty, this game.
Why didn't he go to D8?
Now you're just gonna get checked like crazy here.
Yes,
you're right. He missed King D8 there as well.
He has one legal move.
Right, the computer is going to claim a draw in a minute.
And really quick, Kessav found a way to win against Patrick Wolf here.
Really? Wow.
He got the pawns pushed.
They ran really fast.
Yeah. Fantastic win by Kessav.
Wow. A big upset. Or a pretty big upset.
And now the king's hidden here.
So now Black should win.
But there's no checks.
You just Queen E7 and try to.
Well, Black's not interested in improving his queen position, which he's just leaving it on the square. So this is probably a mistake.
Queen F6 should.
Yeah, should win, I think.
And going back to this game, because Kyron's in the chat saying that Jim's position has improved here.
Oh, dramatically. Oh, he got that pawn to h5. That's really useful. g4. I guess he'll go pawn to h4.
Yeah, or rook to a2. This has got to be a draw.
Yes.
This has got to be a draw. Wow. Jim, pull this one out of the hat. You were getting crushed, I thought.
It looked really bad.
Fantastic. What a great result.
And let's check in on this game because on the second table, UC Berkeley Team B is currently tied with one game left against Caltech. And this is it. Nathan Fong playing white for UC Berkeley is trying to win this game and win the match against Caltech. Nathan Fong is playing Konstantin Zuev.
Well, white has to play something like g4, g5, and then try to finesse in and win one of the, I don't know. I mean,
And black with 30 seconds.
A good knight against a bad bishop. There's always chances.
yeah, we saw that game that Gusenev won against Chiron.
And yeah, tough round, Kyron, but tough games. And that's the amateur team. You guys will come back strong tomorrow.
Yeah, so many tough games.
You have to go through a lot to win the tournament. I mean, you got to get lucky. Yeah, you got to. The pairings have to work well, and it's hard because every year you have like these top teams that you think they're the one, and a lot of times it doesn't end up that way. You never know what matchups are going to be favorable on any given day, and that's life.
I wouldn't want to be black here.
Especially you've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, Nathan's got the time.
It should be a draw.
Judith says this is life.
That's life. And in another important game, just gonna switch to that in the big game at the U.S. Amateur Team West. National Master Michael Wang is trying to win his game so that the UC Berkeley can let's see, wait. Stearman, Tiglon. Yeah. Michael Wang's trying to win this game for white so that they can have a draw in their match against Stanford.
Oh, what happened? He just lost his knight? Oh, he's got. Oh, but it's just hanging on.
Queen c4, queen d5.
Queen f6, queen d6.
Black is alive by a miracle here.
Yes. So close.
Going back to.
Incredible.
Look at this. So White was able to catch that pawn. Still 2 pawns down, but still playing. I can't believe it. Jim Tarjan and Keaton agreed to a draw in their game. And then back over here as Nathan Fong is trying to find a way. This match between UC Berkeley team and Caltech is all tied up coming down to this match.
So what White needs to do, is play G4, G5 and get in that way, Nick?
Probably that's the best plan. I don't think he realized that the simple position gives you a lot more chances. You got to clear out some access of the white king to those darks.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to win just with your knight. It's a principle of two weaknesses.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's also pretty easy to defend in this position. You just move your king. You avoid leaving a pawn on free.
Yeah, there's the 50 move rule. The computer
Yes.
will remind us of the 50 move rule.
And then on move 49, you play pawn to G4.
Exactly. That's how it'll go. How many moves?
There's no reason not to play G4 either.
But it does put it on a white square.
We're not even at 20.
It looks like a draw, though, right? I mean, so what? The kingside pawns come off. How did John do in his game?
He drew with Gorvitz.
Oh, that's right. And how about Rui and the kid team?
Well, here's Rui's game. She is playing Armand Baradaran, who drew with Jim Tarjan in the first round.
Wow. Living dangerously here.
Yeah, that knight on F3 is a nice piece.
And let me peek on the score of their team score.
That looks like May. Oh no. Check. She's got Queen G4.
So mechanics is this is a match they're playing against the UC Berkeley D team. The junior mechanics are 2-1 right now. So it's come down to this game. Rui needs a draw to win the match.
And she's playing for the junior mechanics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Liang won on board 1. Nicholas Wang lost on Nicholas Wang lost on board 3, but Kevin Su won on board 4 for junior mechanics.
So the match is all tied up?
No, it's 2-1 junior mechanics.
Oh, okay. So they have at least a drawn match.
Yes, at least a drawn match. But knowing Rui, she's going for the win. But she can wet the game. And Nathan Fong gets the win against Konstantin Zuev and wins the match for the fork.
Just blunder and a
that's one
fork.
way to win the
Got
game.
the fork. So Nathan Fong delivers the goods for the UC Berkeley B team as they defeat Caltech. Congratulations. Go Bears. And Armand Baradaran playing black, trying to hold on to the draw for
We need an old mechanics team.
older mechanics.
The old mechanics team. This is looking tough for Rui here.
This is big trouble.
Rook C7.
Well, you take it with check is the bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's an inconvenient truth.
Oh, what can Rui do? There's nothing.
Yeah, this is bad. Just try Rook C7 anyway.
Maybe, yes.
Swindle time.
Can she go Rook F3?
There you go. The ending's lost after Queen F3, of course.
No.
Maybe next year it'll be Elliot, me, Michael Walder, and Tom Mazer.
Right, golden mechanics.
Don't forget Nick. Gotta throw Nick in there.
Well, who's going to be doing the commenting without you and I, Paul?
Yeah, it's not going to be Judith and I. I'll tell you that. Yeah, so this will be tough. Back to this game here where Michael Wang is trying to win the match, and I think he needs the win to even it up against Stanford. Stanford, Berkeley. Yeah.
Well, just seconds left for both sides.
Yeah, this is exciting. Although I think Black should be able to hold this without too much problem.
Ooh, Black just got pinned. That was okay. He get out of it by chasing the rook away.
And I think he did that the repetition there to build time. Because White's trying to win this.
Yeah. I have a feeling this will end in a draw, but I mean, you never can tell with these.
Reman saying White was completely winning, and then something fell by the wayside.
I think we're not done with the mistakes in this game.
Time trouble.
It's kind of fun that we've had so many team tournaments. We had the Pan Am, and then now we have this. And then next Saturday we have the kids. We have a Scholastic Amateur Team Championship.
Wow.
Can Michael Wang find a way here? So the Mike Walder says it should be a draw. Like, if played well, should this be a draw?
Well, I think with perfect play, yes, but that's going to be really hard in this time control.
Yeah, especially with black. Well, shoot, they're both down a whole ton of time.
Yeah, they're both practically playing on the increment. Black has to be patient here.
White's creeping up.
King F3, Knight D4, King E3. That might be a little too risky.
Maybe Knight G1 check.
Yeah, or Knight C1. Mm-hmm. The knight is very effective attacking from the back like this.
Looks like White's going to get some play here now.
Very good practical move.
I'm glad I'm not playing this.
It's top. Oh, that was a very good practical move. King F3, Knight G1 check. F3, Rook to E2. Okay, then H5 check.
Oh, you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out for trickery here.
On to H5 check, and you've got pretty decent chances.
Making progress.
He did it. So king can come to H3.
Knight D4. Rook F6 check, I guess. Black's under pressure.
Yeah, H4.
Yeah, that's a funny way for Black to play, sort of helping White along here. G5.
Yeah, why not G5?
This is the second to last game. This is one of the last two games of the round.
G5, Rook H2, King G4, Rook G2, King F4. King G5. Well, if I'm Black, I'm starting to get worried here.
It's tough. It's tough. Maybe pawn H6.
Yeah, get that king away from my rook.
Yeah. But try not to blunder.
Try not to blunder.
Okay, still now it's, I guess you have to go pawn to F4, not
Right.
to F3 check.
And correct, Judith. Very sorry about that. 2 games left in the top section.
This strategy of blacks of checking from behind is not
3
working
in the
very
bottom.
well. He doesn't fall into mate in 1. Maybe black is finally figuring something out here.
King
Well,
has to come to. Oh well, that just repeats.
It has to go to E6, right? And then F7.
Or just back to E4 and keep trying to move the pawns up.
But then rook e2 check, and the white king is cut off from all the pawns. But king e6 looks crazy.
That happens on knight G6, F5, rook E2 check.
White can get mated.
Yeah.
F7, rook e7 mate. Well, F5 is the only move, right?
Yeah, you have to play it.
Yeah. Now rook check is good time to check with the rook.
Didn't get
Fall for the
checkmated.
mate in 1. Man. Wow. What's going to stop? Oh, maybe knight h8?
Oh, that's too passive.
I know, but it's fun. No, it's no fun. It's
maybe you're right. Knight H8, G5, rook to G2, and that's a draw. Wow.
This might be good too, though, checking like this. Just checking. Now it's even further away.
Yeah, the king needs to come back to C5 or something.
White's not getting anywhere here.
It's going to bring the king down. Can the rook and the pawns by themselves without the king?
I don't know. I mean, this looks to me like it's started. Knight e5 threatens the g4 pawn and knight g7.
Oh, that's it.
Oh my gosh. He missed
That's
that.
it.
Missed that fork.
Ouch,
Oh,
he loses.
no. He loses.
Oh, God.
Unbelievable.
That is tough. That is
God.
What a sad loss. Oh.
Very tough. Tough match there for Michael Wang. And got to give props to Seth Taliansky, who hung in there, defended it as best he could, and then got that opportunity to take it down. So
Black wasn't winning after 95. I mean, maybe was winning the pawns, but wasn't winning the game.
So
rook and knight against rook's a draw.
Stanford gets it done. I think all the games in the top section are done. Is there still? You know, the funny thing is that the games are they're going longer because they start 15 minutes later in the bottom section. Because we've staggered it out so that we can start the games effectively. So the under 1800 section games start 15 minutes after we start the top section games. So there's still 2 games going on in that section, but those are winding down also. Just for kicks, let's see where they're at. Let's see.
This was a tragedy.
Yeah, that was tough. I was not expecting losing, right?
Yeah. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. But those knights, they're tricky. They're tricky as anything.
Here's the position of one of the games still going. This will be a win though. Yeah, this is a one game.
For sure.
And
Excuse me. Donkeys.
donkeys, look at this.
Donkeys can kick.
Eric Lai against.
It's actually not my term, donkeys.
Hannah Chen, whose username is chessdog0809.
Made in 2. Oh, doesn't see it. I borrowed it from Gonzalo. Black Mr. Made in 2. The players are getting tired.
That's a lot of chess. It's a marathon.
But it's not the marathon.
Not the marathon. There's only one. There's only one. And actually, let me change the board orientation there. This will be tough. There we go.
Well, it wasn't tough before when Black had mate in 2.
There.
Check is a good move.
Yeah, this is a good move too.
Check again with the queen.
At A3.
Yeah. There's a number of paths to the
promised land.
To the promised chess land. Yeah.
Takes that route.
But not rook to D2 check. That could be a really bad blunder.
Yeah, it's true.
King C1 would have.
There it is, right?
Oh, mate in 1.
Yeah. Rook A3, right?
Yeah.
She may not notice it.
Well, Black must have made in 2 earlier. There's various mates.
Oh.
This should do the trick as well. Queen B1 and Rook D3. Or some combination of that.
I think this is the final game. Come on,
And
Hannah.
she has us on tenterhooks here.
All right, here
And
we
let's
go.
see.
Queen B3, right? After
Rook D3 and Queen B4 mate. Or Queen
B4.
B3. Or Queen A2.
Right. Close the show. Done. The chess dog. 0809. What a day of chess.
Yeah.
And we're going to have another one just like it tomorrow. And the smoke will clear, and we're going to have some strong teams facing each other for round 4, round 5, and round 6, starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Rounds start at 9 a.m. Broadcast will start at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And congratulations to all the players getting through half of the U.S. Amateur Team West. And big shout out and props to all the tournament directors in the back room, making sure everything is running as it should be, and Judith keeping everything organized, and John McCumsky, Chief TD, getting everything paired and going well, and all the tournament directors monitoring the Zooms. We will be back here tomorrow, like I said, 9:30 a.m. And before we sign off, let's throw some support to someone else out there as people throw their support to us. We've been showing a lot of love to Chess Dojo today. And let's see who is on. And we are going to read. Let's send it to Derek Wu, who did not play the Amateur Team West this year, but he's doing his own stream, so we'll send him our viewers. And tune in tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, for the final of the Amateur Team West. Bye, everyone.
Good night.